Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Om ajïäna-timirändhasya jnana-çaläkayä chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupah kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutpad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Vipa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. So yesterday we did till we finished 9th chapter. I will repeat some of the shlokas one more time because some of them are very beautiful and we should think of them. He started saying that I'm giving you the king of all knowledge, and this is the most secret of all the secrets. This is the highest dharma. This is very practical and easy to apply, easy to follow, and this will give you everlasting peace. He went on saying all these things, and then he described what happens when people pray to devatas, other devis and devatas. He said that you will go to heavenly planets. For some time you will enjoy the heavenly planets and you come back again. And the whole cycle will start again. And then he gave us one confidence. He gave us a promise that someone ananayas chintayanto mam yojana paripasate tesham aham nitya bhiktanam yogakshemam vahamiham. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. He gave us that confidence. What if we leave the other devatas? Bhagwan, will you take care? Because I have heard other devatas are giving so much. Will you give? I will. Trust me. This is what he's saying. And Bhagwan says, Ye api anya devata bhakta yajante sadhyanvita te api mameva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. But Bhagwan, what about all those other devatas whom I was worshipping till date? My mind is half and half. Sometimes I want to worship you after listening to the Gita. Then my mind is like, no, what about those? Bhagwan says, those who are the devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship me. But they have not realized it. So they are doing it. But that is in a wrong way. I am the enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my transcendental nature, they keep falling down again and again in this world. Yanti devavrata devan pitrayanti pitravrata bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhyajino apimam. 25th shloka. Very important shloka. To give you the confidence that all those Devi Devatas, when I started reading the Gita, I've told you many times, I started analyzing myself, what I was doing, what pujas I am doing, how much of that was blind faith, how much of that was to sakam bhakti, how much of that was to gain something, fulfilling some desires. Gita gave me higher goals. One time a lady asked me, "Oh, after reading Gita, you'll become goalless in life." I'm like, "No, how? I feel that I got the highest goal. All these worldly goals are what? They keep changing all the time. There is no stable goal in the world. You work hard, you get into the good company, then you see all your bosses, they are earning more than you, they're having such fancy cars, you want to go there, then you go there, then you see somebody else in some other company, then you read about somebody else, I said, in the world, the goalpost goes on changing. It is such a pain. But here, God has given us a goal. And God has given us everything, how to live life and how to live happily. Both, while living also happy, while living also happy. So I've got the highest goal. So I used to analyze my life. How much of that is for, I'm in distress and I called God. When all those times, what mantras I used. When I was demanding, I want this God, I want that God. And the desires never end. I realized that also. How many things I kept asking. God, give me this, God, give me that. I got that, then I want this, then I want this. And the more you get success in your sadhanas, the more greedier you become. Tantric sadhanas are very, they'll give you everything. But then they make you greedy also. Lobh. So calm and lobh. Calm means desire and greed. They go together. I realized. I started seeing all that. Started self-introspection. I started doing that. And this shloka, those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Bhagwan has said that. I don't want to believe. I don't want to hear this. Because I'm talking about, when I was learning the Gita, how much argument that used to go inside. I don't want to hear this, Bhagwan. Why I don't want to hear? And then I used to talk to myself, why I don't want to hear? Yeah, I don't want to hear because I have to stop the Devta worship. And what if I stop the Devta worship? What about those desires? Even though Bhagwan is telling, I will take care of you. No, I'm not believing that, Bhagwan. Those Devtas are more important than you are. Unless and until I shared my experience. Then he was like, okay, I'm also in full form. I'll make you believe me now. Wait. And then everything started going in the opposite direction. Oh, wow. When I think of those days, I feel those moments, I'm really thankful to Bhagwan. If he had not done that, those seeds of greed would never go away. You are relating all the time. Your mind is so conditioned to relate a sadhana with some desire. Thank God, it went away now. His hands always with me. His presence always with me. The joy of being free. The joy of mind not asking anything. The joy of being always, in that zone, in a secured zone. I've been taken care of. Everything is being taken care of. I never worry. I don't know what worry is. No one is taking care. This joy, this freedom. Nothing can come closer to it. And it's all Bhagwan's grace, Bhagwan's kripa. Okay. So when we are on the path, as Bhagwan told us, sometimes we are in distress, so we are calling him. Sometimes we are desiring of something, so we are calling him. And sometimes we are, curious of something, we are calling him. All these three stages we go. And then eventually Bhagwan takes us to that stage, which is the Jnani stage. And Bhagwan has told us through Arjuna that all of them, I like them because all of them are coming to me. And Bhagwan takes us to the stage where he makes us realize. So Bhagwan, when he said, you can experience this. You can realize this. Pratyaksh avagamam. That you can realize it. And that's what Bhagwan does. You read Gita, you start understanding. And somewhere, wherever you're stubborn, I don't want to accept it. He is more stubborn than you. He'll play such things. He'll make you believe. And when you accept that, you're the happiest person on earth. So this thing, those who worship different devatas will go to their planets. Those who worship the ancestors will go to ancestors. And those who worship ghost and spirit will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. So I made a choice. God, I want to live with you. And to make God happy, no complex rituals, 4 things he has told. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Just offer me a leaf. Just offer me a flower. Just offer me a fruit. Just offer me water. That's it. And another thing he said, along with that, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and you will come to me. I envy no one. I am partial to no one. Sloka number 29. But ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. But those who render service unto me with devotion. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. Mai te tashu chapyaham. I also respond in the same way. Ye yata mam prapadyanti tam sadai bhajamyam. Those who render service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So he acknowledges your friendly gesture. And then he goes on to say the highest thing. This shloka I tell so many times to so many people, even in bhakti, when people are on the path of bhakti. After many years, they sometimes come and they say, "Oh ma, I still feel I'm a sinful person. I'm a sinful person. I've committed so many sins in the past." Even though they are doing bhakti, they are very pure. It's not that they're sinful, but it happens. When you don't get that realization or whatever it is, so they'll always repeat, "I'm a sinful person. I'm a sinful person. That's why Bhagwan is not looking at me." And I have to remind them. If you have read Gita, what did Bhagwan say? Api chet suduracharo bhajante mam ananyabha sadhureva cha mantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. So I have to remind them, you're determined to remember God. Maybe the past was past. Whatever you did, remember this. If you really trust Bhagwan, you must remember everything of him. He says, I am not judging anybody. He says, before this shloka, he has said, these 2 shlokas, you should always remind yourself whenever you go, whenever you feel discouraged in spiritual path. These 2 shlokas. I envy no one. I am partial to no one. But if somebody is friendly to me, I am very friendly to them. Bhagwan said that. First, 29th. And 30th, even if somebody is committing the most abominable sin, they committed it. Yet, Bhagwan is so kind, Bhagwan will give them also the knowledge through somebody or the other to purify. Bhagwan is nowhere outside in the heart. He has seen your sin. He has seen you doing that. And he's most kind. He will try his best to bring you to senses. If you are dealing with guilty conscience, he will send somebody to help you. Take this person out of the guilty conscience. Bring them to me. Sadhus, Mahatmas, they are like that. They never judge. I've told you the story. I had met one Aghori. So this Aghori, he was, Aghoris, their prayer is they sit in the graveyard and they offer liquor, and their prayer is very different. So, and they sit on the dead body. They will eat the dead body. Their sadhana is very different. So I just asked them, see, we are doing such pure sadhanas. We pray to Krishna, we offer him milk, we offer him fruits, and we don't eat meat. It is such a pure method of worshipping. Why do you want to choose this method of worshipping? Why? Why can't you worship in a pure way? And then he told me that you are very lucky to be probably born in this kind of family and to get this kind of nature sanskar. But for me, it was not like that. The place where I was born, the conditioning of the mind that happened from childhood was not good. One day I came home drunk, extremely drunk, and I actually raped my sister-in-law. When I came back to normalcy, when I came back to my consciousness, I realized, what did I do? I was very sad. And my family threw me out of the house. And then I went to many places. I went to many pandits, many gurus, asking, what should I do? But my whole appearance is so disgustful to many people. They didn't want to accept me. Nobody. Because I had committed I was like that. I was so disgustful. Only my Aghori guru, he accepted me. He's working on me. He said, you have so much habit to drink. He said, if he was saying that if you probably, if you cut my skin, you will only see probably liquor coming out of the skin. That's how I was so much in intoxication, addicted. So to improve a person like me, I'm full of tamogun. I'm sick. To me, if somebody just says, oh, you stop every day, everything, and then just stop, be pure, I cannot be. So my guru gave me this Kali Mai. She will work with you. And I'm doing that sadhana. You like a body. If I commit a rape, that means I'm so attracted to a body. And what is that body? That's only dead. So I sit on the dead place to remind myself of that, to wash that conditioning from my subconscious. So this is my sadhana. I trust my guru. And my guru will take me there. So this kind of sadhanas are there. So Bhagwan says, this is how, this has kept a very deep mark on my consciousness. I never judge people in this sense. Even though I read in Gita, Bhagwan says, tamoguni, this guni. I understand all the process. But then I see how Bhagwan works, even for that person whom the society has thrown away. Society has rejected, the pandits have rejected, the priests, the great gurus have rejected, such a disgustful person. But God has come in that form of that guru and helping this person to overcome that. One day, maybe in this body itself will become so pure. Maybe in next life he'll become so pure. That karma that he did, that is following him like a ghost. He has to get rid of that consciousness, that guilty consciousness, that karmic reaction. Suffering is not in next life. Suffering is in this life itself. He's suffering. But God is not leaving. God is helping him. And we have to acknowledge that, just like God is acknowledging. I can be full of disgust for that person, and I can be full of disgust for the guru. But no, seeing how God is working, I'm like, I don't know, I was speechless. I'm speechless. And I remember this shloka when he says, Api chet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhak. Sadhu eva sa mantavya samyak vyavasito hi sa. Bhagwan's words. Even if somebody commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is considered to be saintly because he is properly situated. All of us are like that. All of us. We think we are pure, but we commit so many things. This shloka is in 30th shloka, chapter 9.30. Even if one commits the most abominable action, the word sudurachara used in this verse is very significant, and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has two kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities, even for the devotees, in connection with conditional life. And such activities are called conditional. Besides this, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of Lord has activities which are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service in relation to the body will parallel one another. But then again, sometimes these activities become opposed to one another. As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disrupt his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection in his activities depends on his progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically, but such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down, but he is wholeheartedly engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord being situated within his heart purifies him. Lord situated within the heart purifies him and excuses him for that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always a success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. For as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall downs will be stopped in due course as soon as the devotee is completely situated in that consciousness. Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, should be considered in the transcendental position. Even if by chance or accident he has found to have fallen. The word sadhur eva, he is saintly, is very emphatic. They are a warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly, even if he had an accidental fall down. And the word mantavya is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule, then and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then one is obeying the order of the Supreme. One is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in the devotional service. In the Narsimha Puran, the following statement is given: Bhagavati cha haravananya cheta brashamalino api virajate manushya nahi shasha kulasha kalusha chabi kadachit timira para bhavatam upayati chandraha. The meaning is that even if one fully engaged in the devotional service of the Lord is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities, these activities should be considered to be like spots that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not become impediment to the diffusion of moonlight Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him a born immovable. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee in transcendental service can act in all kind of abominable ways. So one who is in bhakti should not be doing this accidentally if it happens sometimes. It should not be Bhagwan will help that person. It only refers to accidental fall down, okay? Due to the strong power of material connection. So devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is strong enough to fight the illusory energy, there may be accidental fall downs, but when one is strong enough, he is no longer subjected to such fall downs as previously explained. So no one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character by devotional service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee. So this is a war. Bhagwan gives chances, but does not give this is not something that, you keep chanting Lord's name and keep committing sin. No. Accidental fall downs. Bhagwan says, so such a person, what happens to him? 31st Shloka. Chipram bhavati dharmatma shashvam shantim nigacchati. He quickly becomes righteous. If he's chanting my name, though he committed some sin, but he's chanting my name, quickly he'll become righteous and he will attain lasting peace. Kaunteya pratijanihi na me bhakta pranishyati. O Kunti, O son of Kunti, boldly declare, na me bhakta pranishyati, my devotee never perishes. Mahi partha vyapashitya ye api syo papayoneha triyo vaishyas tatha sudrash te api yanti paramgatim. Bhagwan says, O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though be of lower birth. Then he goes on adding women, Vaishyas, Shudras. Vaishyas means merchants and workers. Even if somebody is born in the lower birth means they are born in homes where there is no talk of Bhagwan, where from childhood, the parents are, say, drug traffickers. This kid is born in a family where the business is drug trafficking. Born in the family of smugglers. Born in a place where prostitution is rampant. If somebody is born in this kind of, which is lower birth, right? They don't get that opportunity to come to a normal society, to associate with normal people. I see small kids in India. They are the kids of construction workers. So the parents are doing construction. These kids don't get the opportunity to go to school also. They see their parents as workers. As kids, they also take the work. They become laborers only. They don't grow. So materialistically, they are not growing. But even if such people, if this message of God, the bhakti of God is given to them, they also will be liberated. Remembering God, chanting God's name, they'll be liberated. So Bhagwan says when lower birth. So lower birth means all these different people whom, as per the society, we consider them as lower strata of the society. Then there are women. Bhagwan has very openly used this name, women, on purpose. Because he was at a time when he saw what happened to Draupadi, how they are considering women. So much of our Vedic knowledge, you'll see it is not meant for women. They say that. The Brahmanas made it. People have twisted the knowledge of scriptures. Only men can hear. In South, they chant the Purusha Sukta. So I didn't know what Purusha, because I was not from the Vishnu background, so I didn't know what is Purusha Sukta. So I was like, okay, what is that Purusha Sukta? Show me, I want to chant too. So the person whom I was asking, that person said, no, you can't chant, you're a lady. I come from a background where ladies are worshipped. So, I still, my husband used to joke when we got married. He's like, in our culture, we worship Vishnu, and you have seen Vishnu. Vishnu is sitting nicely, and Lakshmi ji is just, massaging his feet. So that indicates, Lakshmi ji massaging his feet means that person is so great who has Lakshmi sitting near his feet. That's just a... So my husband was joking, see, Vishnu ji just sits and Lakshmi ji massages. I said, I'm sorry, but I come from a culture where Kali just stands and Shivji just lies down. Please forgive me. You can stand upon me. And Kali is like, okay, keep quiet. We used to joke. My husband is like, okay, Kali. And I'll be like, yeah, I am Annapurna. I come from the culture where the women of the house is Annapurna. If she gives you food and breakfast, you get it. Otherwise, you sit near her feet. So we are from different backgrounds. So anyways, so why did we come here? So women. So I come from that background where women are worshipped. Women is Kali, women is Durga, women is Lakshmi, women is Annapurna. Without women, nothing is possible. And the homes, we have been given the teaching that in the homes where women are worshipped and women are given, women are given the equal respect, that those homes flourish. So we come from that background. So if somebody changes this Vedic things, they might have done it, but Bhagwan in Gita says, this knowledge that I'm giving you, boldly I'm declaring, this knowledge is for women also. So moving further, nobody can say that, oh, this Gita knowledge, only ladies can sit. Just like how the Purusha Sukta, I was told ladies cannot go and see Purusha Sukta, only Purush will read the Purusha Sukta. I was like, where does this Purusha Sukta came? And if somebody tells me, don't do this, I want to do that and see it. So I was like, okay, I have to see what Purusha Sukta is. So that day I went to the office and first thing I did, I Googled Purusha Sukta. What is there in that Purusha Sukta that is so hidden? Okay, then I understood part of Vedas. Okay. Part of Vedas I understood. Then I started reading. Nothing. It only describes about the 1,000 form of the greatest Purush, Bhagwan, Vishnu. And the men say, oh, women should sit at home. Then I started thinking why they were saying this. Then I understood. They will go to the temples. They will sit there with all the men. They will do the Ved part. But when they come home, they want the dinner to be ready. Who will do the dinner? If the wife also goes and sits and does Ved chanting. So the wife has to be at home. While he is chanting, the wife has to be home making the food. So that is why this is not meant for ladies. But Bhagwan is Bhagwan. He broke all the rules. He had come to break all the rules. All those rules which had no value. And he said, this knowledge is for everyone. For the lowest strata of the society, for the women, for the merchants, and even for the Shudras. They all can attain the supreme destination. And then, since I've given this to everybody, oh Arjun, kim punar brahmana punya bhaktya rajarshyas anityam sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. How much more this is so of the righteous brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in my loving service. And he says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto, mad yaji mam namaskuru, mam evashyasi kaunteya, yuktatvam atmanam matparayana. Engage your mind. So this is the end of the chapter 9, the 9th Shloka. So he started from giving us the biggest knowledge, and he ends up in this Shloka where he gives us the knowledge. What is the knowledge? Engage your mind always in thinking of me and become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So in this verse, it is very clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of the contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly said here, that all the devotional service should be offered to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is the absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute. It is situated in the Kurma Puran, as quoted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhashya, comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Dehade vibhedo yam neshware vidyate kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know this science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was always thinking of Krishna, always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional service. That is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal, blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from different source will be wrong and will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form of Krishna with a conviction in this heart that Krishna is the Supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for worship of Krishna, and the devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity, engage his mind, body, his activities, everything that will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to the Krishna Loka. One must engage the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting the names of Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of the society. The 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord is free, that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahmajyoti and localized Paramatma, but a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of different gods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 9th chapter. Now we go into the chapter 10. The opulence of the absolute. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Bhuya eva Mahabhayo Shunu me paramam vacha yatteham priyamanaya vakshayami hitakamyaya. Bhagwan is going on saying all these things. Don't worry. He said, even if somebody has committed biggest sin, Arjuna, if your mind is by chance thinking that, okay, you're going to kill so many people and there will be so much sin. So don't worry. Think of me. I'll take care of it. You'll be free from it. Don't worry. And he says, O Mahabahu, O mighty armed Arjun, yatteham priyamanaya, you are very dear to me. So, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So Bhagavan now is using Arjun to give us the knowledge. He says, what I have given you in the past also, I'm giving you better knowledge than this. So this 9th and 10th are continuous, okay? What knowledge he had given in the past was the Sankhya and everything we heard, Karma Yoga and all those big philosophies. So he started like that, giving all the big philosophies in the beginning, because he knows what kind of audience will be there in the future. People will come with all their questions, confused about karma, confused about knowledge, confused about philosophy. So Bhagavan knows when the people come with all these questions, first give them that knowledge, first satisfy them. Now, once their questions have been answered, now they'll be peaceful to receive this higher knowledge. Now Bhagavan says, Arjun, and through Arjun, all of us. He says, you are dear to me. All of you who are listening to this lecture today. He's saying to everybody, each and everybody of you who is listening, you are dear to me. Who is saying? Whom you wanted to speak to you. Bhagavan. You want, right? Bhagavan to speak to you? Now Bhagavan is saying, you all are dear to me. You all are dear to me, and that's why I'm going to give you this knowledge, which is highest knowledge, which is higher than anything else I've given you in the past. Higher than the logic, the Advaita or jnana or whatever nirvana, whatever you were thinking, or the karma yoga. Higher than that, I'm going to give you. Raj Vidya, Rajaguyam, I'm going to give you. I told you, Manmana Bhavamat Bhakta, but I'm going to give you more. It is not easy for you to surrender to me. I know, I understand. Think of it. Arjun's friend standing and saying, giving all the knowledge. It is very easy to get deluded and think, yeah, go on, bro. You just keep talking and talking about yourself. So Arjun might think like that. Sometimes we also think like that. Yeah. But Bhagwan has to be, 1,000 hands, 1,000 eyes. That has to be Bhagwan. How can Bhagwan be like this? 2 hands, talking like this. My dear friend, my dear friend, my dear friend. When I want Bhagwan to be so big, so unapproachable. But Bhagwan says, my dear friend, my dear friend. He becomes too approachable. He's becoming too friendly to me. It is very difficult for our heart to accept it. Bhagwan's friendliness, it is very difficult to digest. Because we always want some formality with God. We always want. Here, being a friend means all formalities are gone. We have thought of God as something very big. Bhagwan will show that big form. We have always thought of Bhagwan with 4 hands. Bhagwan will show that 4-handed form. Bhagwan will clear everything that you have been thinking, and then he will bring your attention to himself. When he said, Man mana bhavamat bhakto, why should I put my mind on you, God, but you are not God? No, you are only 2-handed. How will you perform how will you maintain the world? You're only 2-handed. It's very difficult for my mind to accept you as Bhagwan. Man mana bhavamat bhakto, become my devotee. Bhagwan, it is very difficult for me to accept you as God. Madhyaji mam namaskuru, worship me. Bhagwan, I don't know even how to worship you. There has to be some complex rituals. I have heard about, I have done that so much. Then only I will feel that I have worshipped you. You are only saying, just give me 4 things. You're making it so simple. Bhagwan, it is very difficult to accept. It happens. So Arjuna is just representing us. Probably Arjuna is also thinking like this. My friend, I only ask you simple question. You started so much. Sankhya Yoga, Raj Vidya, Karma Yoga, whatnot, Buddhi Yogam. You started with Buddhi Yoga. Now, where is Buddhi Yoga coming here? From Buddhi Yoga, you brought me back to Manmana Bhav Mad Bhakto. From Buddhi Yoga, with all that analytical yoga and analytical knowledge. And then you tell me, I'm going to give you the king of all knowledge. And then you tell me, worship me. So Arjuna is looking at Krishna. And Krishna knows everybody's mind. And Krishna is like, Arjun, I'm going to give you the biggest knowledge. Why? Because you are my dear friend. I shall speak to you further. And I will give you the knowledge. It is better than what I have already explained. Aman writes from Buddhi Yoga to Mama Yoga. Yes, Mama Yoga, my yoga. Actually, this is what it is. The whole Gita is my yoga only, my dharma. He's bringing him here, talking all these big things and finally bringing to himself. Bhagwan says, Arjun, na me vidu suraganaha prabhavam na maharshayah aham madirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Neither the host of these devatas nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of these devatas and these sages. Yo mam janamadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asamura chamartyeshu sarva pape pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all worlds, he only, undiluted among men, is freed from all sins. Buddhir jnanam asammoha kshama satyam damashama sukham dukham bhavo bhayam cha bhayam evacha ahimsa samata tushtish tapodanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pritagvidaha. He says, I'm going to read the purport of this. It's a little big one, but it's a good one. He says, it's very difficult for somebody to find who I am. How can the demigods know me? I created them. How can these rishis know me fully? I am their creator. They can only know I created. I am the intelligence. I am the knowledge. I am freedom from doubt and delusion. I am forgiveness. I am truthfulness. All these various qualities. Control of the senses. Control of the mind. Happiness. Distress. Birth. Death. Fear. Fearlessness. Non-violence. Equanimity. Satisfaction. Austerity. Charity. Fame. Infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. So the different qualities of living entities, whatever good or bad, are created by Krishna. It is described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. And knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of the material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. So knowledge means we have to know who we are. This is knowledge. We go to school, we get degrees, colleges, but those degrees are only giving us jobs. They don't help us solve the problems of life. Yeah, day to day they can, daily things they can provide. But knowing the difference between who we really are, what is this body, why have we come? We have only come to work like this, slog like a donkey and die. No, there is some higher purpose. So one who knows this higher purpose, that person is knowledgeable. So intelligence used for that is the right intelligence. Bhagavan says, I am intelligence. Asamoha. Asamoha means freedom from doubt and delusion. Can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely, he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. As I told you, Gita. I read it so many times. It was very difficult to accept the teachings of Gita because I had a conditioning from my childhood. Very hard conditioning. Some of it was blindly following, not knowing. Superstitiously following. So many superstitions I had. Omens. I don't fear anything anymore. We follow. Somebody has told something and then it's in your head. You have seen something on the TV, it's in your head. Early, in one of the classes, so I was teaching Gita, so this person, she's learning Gita from me. She was learning Gita from me, and then one day she just calls me, "Oh, Smita, something wrong happened in my house." I said, "What happened?" She's like, "I was praying to Bhagwan, and I had lighted a lamp. Usually the lamp lasts for 1 hour. That day, lamp just diffused in between." I'm like, "So, what happened?" "Light it up again." No, there is something wrong, right? I said, "What wrong?" "No, the lamp diffused." I said, "So diffuse, so light it up again." "What's wrong?" "No, is it not a bad omen?" I'm like, "No. You are praying to God. And wherever there is God, there cannot be bad omen. But I have seen this in the TV, in those Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu serials. Oh, that lady was praying and then the light diffused and then somebody died in the home. I said, see, this is the conditioning of mind. We carry images, we carry beliefs like this. I am giving you a new belief. Not me, Bhagwan is giving. Don't worry, I am there, I am taking care of you. I am the light inside your heart. Why are you worried about that small light, the lamp that got diffused? Why are you worried about that? Focus so much that I am the light. I am the lamp inside your heart. That light got diffused, no problem. Close your eyes. I am there inside your heart. That we cannot believe. But we are ready to believe what is shown in the TV. So my friend says, oh, tube light. I am a tube light. Now my tube light is on. I understood what you mean to say. So this is what happens. So Gita, I have tried to criticize Gita. I have tried to find out faults in Gita. But I'm telling you, the entire 18 chapters I've read so many times. I've tried to criticize, I've tried to cut Bhagwan's arguments, logic so many times. I may find faults in the purports. But when it comes to what Bhagwan has given in the shlokas, I cannot. This is not a Purana story. In Puranic stories, you find, you will find, oh, what is this story? I'm not able to relate to this story. You may, I have not read those stories also. But here, when Bhagwan is giving knowledge, there's nothing that you can say, oh, this is wrong. This I should not believe. No. He opens up your eyes completely. And then, when Prabhupada says here, nothing should be accepted blindly. Yes, nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and caution. This is what you have to follow. This is what is true knowledge. Kshama, tolerance and forgiveness can be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. Satyam, that is truthfulness, means the facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to the social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward manner so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief, and if the people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. Control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses. Whatever is required by the senses, you give it to them. But when the senses are going out of control, you should know to stop. Unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called shama. Shama means control of the mind. One should not spend one's time pondering all the time over earning money. That is misuse of the thinking power. The mind should not be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings. Mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons, and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is highly developed. Sukham, pleasure or happiness, should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of your Krishna bhakti should be accepted. And anything unfavorable, detrimental in your Krishna bhakti, no matter how good it is, any person, place, object, anything, if it is not helping you grow spiritually, if it is not helping you in your Krishna bhakti, do not think even once, just reject it. It should not be accepted. This has to be the rule by which you should live. This has to be the principle. Anything that is helping me grow spiritually in my bhakti, in my Krishna consciousness, I will accept. Anything that is coming against my way, reject. Bhava. Bhava means birth and death. Again and again. Bhava, birth, should be understood to refer to the body. As far as the soul is concerned, there is no birth, no death. That we have discussed in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities, he's sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. So we don't have to fear about anything in the world anymore. Why should we fear? People normally fear about what will happen tomorrow. People feel insecure. Insecurity is the biggest fear, I think. Always insecure. But Bhagavan says, I am your life insurance. What to worry? Why do you worry? Why fear when Krishna is near? My father used to tell me sometimes when I used to fear. It happens. We all go through these stages. My father used to say this to me. Why fear when God and Guru are near? Always. So whenever the fear used to come, like, oh, what will happen tomorrow? So this statement, this mantra I used to repeat. Why fear when God and Gurus are near? Why fear when God and Gurus are near? Why fear when God and Gurus are near? And then I used to remember my Gurus and I'm like, okay, no fear. Same way. Fear is, we fear about, when we have wealth, we fear about losing wealth. People fear about poverty. But when we remember God, we should not fear anything. Bhagwan has said, I will provide you everything that you need and I will take care of everything that you have. So do not fear. So fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities, he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back to Godhead. Therefore, his future is very bright. Otherwise, others, however, do not know what their future holds. We know our future. We'll remember God and we'll go to his home. Best future ever. People who do not know what is going to happen. I met during COVID, so many deaths happened. So I met somebody. So this lady never used to believe in God. Total atheist. Who God? I don't know who God is. All this Rama, Krishna, whatever people talk, this is all mythological. Wonderful, great. She believed throughout her life. Then when COVID happened, then whatever the COVID results came, she was admitted to the hospital. It was a month-long struggle for her to recover from COVID. And those wards, COVID wards, you see, you are sleeping with so many people and everywhere there is a death. For the first time, that lady is now worried. Throughout her life, she lived fearlessly. There is no God. All these are mythological. Never questioned about death. Now when you start seeing death everywhere and death is going to approach you also, now the fear crept in and now she's like, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to me? Where am I going to go? She wrote a message to one of her friends. What is going to happen to me? Your friend knows about Krishna or something, you were talking, can you tell me, what happens after death? So this friend called me. She wants to know what happens after death. I'm like, yeah, just tell her whatever you have learned in Gita, whatever you can make her understand, make her feel better that remember God, even at that time, if she can remember Krishna, if she can take the name of Krishna sincerely, even if death has to come, she'll go peacefully. She doesn't have to worry. And if that doesn't have to come, she'll come back with a great knowledge. Tell her to be relaxed under all circumstances. So my friend used to write to her, but it is not easy, If you have not developed it throughout your life, it is very difficult at that time to accept it. So she used to send messages to her. But the struggle was over a month, and then she recovered. She came back. She's now pursuing some knowledges. She goes on telling, I was a non-believer, now I believe. So one has to sometimes go through such experiences, extreme experiences, to believe things like this. But for us devotees, we are so blessed. Bhagwan is giving us all this knowledge while we are in full consciousness, in the best of health, in the best of everything. And Bhagwan is making us sit down. My dear friends, you are very dear to me. So I'm giving you this knowledge. Knowing this, you'll be free. Total freedom. Freedom from all anxiety, from all misconceptions, freedom from everything, from all insecurities. Be fearless. You live life properly, and when you leave the body, your future is secured. Wow. Complete freedom from every fear. This is what Gita does to us. So our future is very secured. Others who do not know what their future holds, they have no knowledge of what the next life is. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Bhayam Dvitiya abhiniveshataha syat. Fear is caused by our absorption in this illusory energy. But those who are free from the illusory energy, those who are confident that they are not the material body, that they are spiritual parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of Supreme Lord, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is a condition of persons who are not in Krishna consciousness. Abhayam, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Krishna consciousness. Ahimsa, non-violence, means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. We should never trouble anyone, not even in our dreams. That's how pure your consciousness should become. Not hurting anyone, not even with your speech, your mind or anything. If it is in the mind, it will come on the speech. Sometimes people, become sarcastic, taunting. They're very good people, normal people, very good people. But when they are angry at somebody or, some trouble is brewing between two people, So they'll be very nice. All the time they're quiet. And one day they'll be so sarcastic. They will make such statements, which will just pierce them. And then they feel guilty. Why did I do this? So try not to be like that. Never think bad about anybody. So this is ahimsa. Not putting anyone into trouble, neither through your actions, nor through your mind, nor through your speech. But the question sometimes will come, but they are troubling us so much. I understand. So at that time, face and tell them clearly to change their habits. It's okay. So what if they are hurt? No worries. You told the truth as it is. And then tell them, I have no enmity with you. I'm not thinking against you. And then when you say that from your mouth, and then you will still see that your heart is still heavy. You'll feel that. Then go sit in front of God. And that day, whatever chanting you did, everything surrender it for the benefit of that other person. You will be free. Your heart will be clear and free. Do that. This is ahimsa. Not to hurt anybody purposely. We will know when we hurt, when we say some things, we know it very well what we have done. Don't be sarcastic. So ahimsa means do not hurt people or put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good results. But because the politicians and philanthropists have no transcendental vision, they do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commission which do not further that end commit violence on the human body. That which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general is called non-violence. Samatā, equanimity, refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. So to be very much attached or to be very much detached is not the best. We have to find the balanced way in the world. This material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion and without even hatred. We live in the world. Sometimes it happens that, we have become spiritual. We love God. We love Krishna. Now I don't like the world. Yeah, I don't like the world. But that's a statement you can only say. You cannot hate the world. You have been brought to the world. You have to always remember, Bhagwan send you at certain place for certain things, certain duties, certain roles. Do your duties, do your roles perfectly. This is Bhagwan's world. How can I hate world? This world is also Bhagwan's world. How can I hate anybody? Bhagwan has given them life. As Bhagwan gave me life, Bhagwan has given life to everybody. So I bet my duty is to serve God. I better serve God. How do I serve God? God has put me into this place, this home, amongst these people. Let me serve them nicely. And the rest of the time, let me remember God. Simple. Serve God this way. Bhagwan is happy. So we live in the world. We live detached. But there is no hatred. There is no aversion. That which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted. That which is unfavorable should be rejected. This is called samatā, equanimity. A person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept, save in terms of its usefulness in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness. Tushti. Tushti is satisfaction. Means that one should not be eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activity. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction. Tapas means austerity or penance. There are many rules and regulations in the Vedas which apply here, like rising early in the morning, taking a bath. Sometimes it is very troublesome to rise early in the morning, but whatever voluntary trouble one may suffer in this way is called penance. Similarly, there are prescriptions for fasting on certain days of the month. One may not be inclined to practice fasting, but because of his determination to make advancement in the science of Krishna consciousness, he should accept such bodily troubles when they are recommended. However, one should not fast unnecessarily or against Vedic injunctions. What is this kind of fasting? We will learn it in chapter 14. One should not fast for some political purpose. That is also described in Bhagavad Gita as fasting in ignorance. And anything done in ignorance or passion does not lead to spiritual advancement. Everything done in the mode of goodness does advance one, however, and fasting done in terms of Vedic injunction enriches one in spiritual knowledge. As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earnings to some good cause. And what is a good cause? It is that which is conducted in terms of Krishna consciousness. That is not only a good cause, but the best cause. Because Krishna is good. His cause is also good. Thus, charity should be given to a person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. According to the Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. The practice is still followed, although not very nicely in terms of the Vedic injunction. But still the injunction is that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. Why? Because they are engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A Brahmana is supposed to devote his life to understanding Brahman. Brahma janati iti Brahmana. One who knows Brahman is called a Brahmana. Thus, charity is offered to the Brahmanas because they are always engaged in higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. In the Vedic literature, charity is also to be awarded to one who is in the renounced order of life, the sannyasa order. The sannyasis beg from door to door, not for money, but for missionary purpose. The system is that they go from door to door to awaken the householders from their slumber of ignorance. Because the householders are engaged in family affairs and have forgotten their actual purpose in life, awakening their Krishna consciousness, it is the business of sannyasis to go as beggars to the household and encourage them to be Krishna conscious. As it is said in the Vedas, one should awake and achieve what is due him in this human form of life. Thus, this knowledge and method is distributed by the sannyasis, and hence charity is to be given to such sannyasis, to the Brahmanas, and similar good causes, not to any whimsical cause. Yashas or fame should be according to Lord Chaitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. Who is a famous man? That man who is known as a great devotee. What else fame you want? People remember you as a great devotee of the Lord. This is the best fame one can have. Every other fame will go away one day. But this fame, you are the devotee of the Lord, that will stay. So that is the real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness, and it is known, then he is truly famous. One does not have such fame as infamous. One who does not have such fame is infamous. All these qualities are manifest throughout the universe in human society and in the society of demigods. There are many forms of humanity on other planets, and these qualities are there. Now, for one who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna creates all these qualities, but the person develops it. So these qualities are always there with us. But when we are in the right association in satsanga, we read the Gita, we hear Bhagwan speaking it to us, we start developing these qualities. So these are always there. Krishna said here in this shloka, these qualities are from me. If Krishna is there, the qualities are there. Now we get the knowledge to develop these qualities. So now for one who, so Krishna creates all these qualities, but the person develops it from himself, develops them himself from within. One who engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord develops all the good qualities and as arranged by the Supreme Lord. of whatever we find, good or bad, the origin is Krishna. Nothing can manifest itself in this world which is not in Krishna. That is knowledge. Although we know that things are differently situated, we should realize that everything flows from Krishna. Bhagwan says, next shloka, the 7 great sages, and before them, the other 4 great sages, and the Manus, who are our forefathers, they all come from me, born from my mind, and all living beings populating the various planets descend from them. Etam vibhuti yogam cha mam yo veti tatvatah so avikalpena yogena yunjate nata sanchayah. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. So we will end it up here. We ended up at shloka number 7. Tomorrow we are going to learn more about his opulences. What are the opulences? He'll speak and we will understand that. And tomorrow he will give us 4 shlokas, which are the heart of Gita. And when he talks about the qualities of his devotees, we'll learn that tomorrow. I'll see your comments and then we'll end it up. All right. Ma, then what about Sri Vidya Sadhana? If one is doing Sri Vidya Sadhana, we are worshipping Lalitambika, but Krishna is asking to worship him directly. Lalitambika is also his form only. Don't worry. Okay? So that thing will come later on. As I told you, your family's picture has to be very clear. Lalita is your ma, Shiva is your father, Krishna is your best friend. So when you will look at your altar, all these 3 are there. All of them are blessing. If you chant Lalitambika, right now your faith is in Lalitambika. Suddenly, if I break your faith and say, no, break everything and go to Krishna, it is not possible. It has to come naturally, gradually. Okay? So you don't stop anything. Right now you're praying to Lalita, pray to Lalita. She is his sister. Always remember this. She is his sister. If she blesses you, that faith in Krishna will become very strong. And gradually, one day it will happen, you will drop those worship and you will gradually, you will worship Krishna without any doubt. Right now, when you question, that means there is a doubt. There's a fear also. Sometimes it is there. What about my sadhana? I never left my sadhana. When I was here in the Gita, I was doing my Tripura Sundari sadhana. And the other sadhanas also, as my father was telling me. Gradually, the love overpowered. And then I started seeing the picture as one. There is no difference. When I worship her, she is also happy. When I worship him, he's happy. They are both happy with each other. Shivji is happy. Everybody is happy. The entire family is happy. So you make it like that. So there will not be any confusion. Worship Lalitambika. She will take you there. They all live in a spiritual abode. And all of them visit each other. So it's their big, great family. Okay. So we think like that. So you can chant, and so with Lalita, do not be confused. All the gopis, they prayed to Katyayani, and we read Tripura Rahasya. In Tripura Rahasya, Devi Lalita means Tripura. Main goddess is Tripura. She has taken different forms, and her different names are like that. So one of the forms is Katyayani. So all the gopis, they prayed to Katyayani to get Krishna as husband. And also, Kirtida and Rishbhanu, Radha and his parents, they were worshipping Tripura to get Radharani as daughter. This Tripura, whom you are worshipping, became the Yogamaya, who was born to Yashoda, all written in Tripura. So our picture has to be very clear. We don't see difference in anything. If somebody is worshipping Lalita Tripura Sundari, and if in this life they worship Lalita Tripura Sundari, as Bhagwan said, they will go to Lalita Tripura Sundari's Dham, Manipur Dham. But that Manipur, that Srinagar Sridham, it is in the spiritual world. So people from there can go to Krishna Lok. Okay? So the journey is good. Don't worry about that. All right. It means, should we chant both Lalita and Krishna mantra? Confused ma. You can chant both also. There is no difference. Let me tell you, when you chant the Lalita mantras, when I give you, there are many names. Vishnu Rupinye Namaha. Lalita's one name is Krishna Sodariye Namaha. Padmanabh Sodariye Namaha. So she's Padmanabh Sodari, she's Krishna Sodari. Sodari means sister. Okay, so don't worry about that. Chant. When you read Trishati. So in Trishati, there is one name where Haladhrita Pujitaya Namaha. That Balram, Lord Balram is worshipping her. Arjun, I have explained this so many times, Padma Puran. Arjun worshipped her to get that Gopi Bhav. She herself, in Devi Puran, they'll say, she herself has become Radha. And through Radha came many Sakhis, and one of the Sakhis is Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi is the Acharya of Rasopasana. So one of the manifestations, indirectly, one of the Kala. So our picture has to be very clear. We are reading here. The picture has to be very clear. Let your Shraddha be there, no problem. Gradually, your Shraddha will become so strong, So that day you will come to Krishna. So that doesn't mean that Lalita will get angry or Shiva will get angry. Nobody will get angry. They're all very happy. Okay. All right. So he's saying, I'll take care. Are you believing he'll take care? That is more important. Are you believing he will take care? That is more important. All right. What is further path? Once we are into Lalita, I explained, everything. And what is further path? Once we are into Lalita Devi Upasana and towards Krishna getting Krishna Prem Sakhi Bhav, what is further? Should we continue Aradhana of Lalita Ambika or both? Krishna and Lalita? Kindly reply. Continue both. And further Bhav, he will really reveal the Bhav, whatever the Bhav is. So don't worry about that. This both will do it together. All right. Where I found that shloka I gave you. Divya, Manaschena Lagnam Guru Rangri Padme Tatakim 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 Tatakim. You are the greatest blessing from Golok and Manidip for Asma. Thanks a lot. हमेशा आपके आशीर्वाद हम सब पर बना रहे. भगवान का आशीर्वाद बना रहे. चलिए. From Buddhi Yoga to Mama Yoga. Yes. I have a problem sometimes. I do not mean to be so direct, but my mind is a businesswoman, so I come across very alpha energy. I'm sorry. Be alpha. Bhagwan is alpha. So be alpha. Who is telling you to be anything else? We have to be strong. We have to be the alpha. We have to do our work when we're doing our work. After all the work is done, when you come back home, when you wind up, means the day's work is done, you wind up, you remember Krishna. And oh God, whatever I did today, by my mind, action and speech, in my work, with my people, whomever, wherever, whatever I did, oh Lord Krishna, I surrender it to you. Done. This is what Bhagwan is teaching. Bhagwan is not talking, become a doormat. Work as per your nature. But always remember him. There are people who work as alpha and they develop a lot of ego. That it is them. They don't remember God. But for us, we should work as alpha because we belong to the alpha. Alpha means Bhagwan. So that quality will come into us and we surrender all our work to him. That's all Bhagwan is teaching. Okay? All right. So we'll end it up now and we'll meet tomorrow in a very beautiful class. Okay? Jai Shri Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Ma.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, Ma.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.